Welcome. This is the first video describing the Free Range Digital Design Foundation Modeling textbook. What I'm going to be describing in here is just an overview of the textbook and provide some preliminary details. So this approach to digital design, I think it's a new approach. It differs significantly from other approaches. We'll brief description of that. Primarily, I've removed a lot of low-level details. Particularly, a lot of textbooks are focused on reducing functions and representing functions in as many ways as possible. And in particular, if you know anything about digital design, I got rid of K-mapping, or Carnot maps, for those of you who don't know. Additionally, a lot of textbooks go into finite state machine design, which is FSMs. And they would go into really low-level implementations of FSMs that really didn't do anything. I've ejected that also. So this book concentrates on high-level design. I consider it a modern approach to digital design, and in that it focuses on modular design and hierarchical design. Okay, modular design is just plopping down modules. Hierarchical is taking those modules, putting them in a box and making a module out of it. Not a big deal. We'll definitely be going over that in later videos in much more detail. So another thing is this book does not mention hardware description languages. There's essentially two hardware description languages out there, which is Verilog and VHDL. These are, I've included those in separate books. One is the Free Range Verilog Foundation Modeling. There should only be one Verilog in there, not two Verilogs. Okay, and there's also a Free Range VHDL book out there. I'm not focused on foundation modeling, which will make a little bit more sense later, but it has what you need to know to get you started in VHDL. So these books are unique in that they don't try to teach you everything at once. They try to teach you enough to get you designing circuits really quickly, and then you add in the details later. Okay, so my motivation behind writing these textbooks was first engineering textbook I purchased was 1983. It was a statics and dynamics book. It cost $60, which was like a ton of money back then, and I always wondered why they're so expensive, and that always stayed with me. I always thought I would do something about it. So particularly my academic experience was different. It was 30 plus years ago. Back then, access to knowledge was a little bit different in that there was no internet, there were no computers or anything like that. Essentially, the two sources of knowledge were the textbook and the teacher, so not a lot back then. So because of the lack of computers, this is one man's opinion, the engineering education wasn't primarily focused on teaching skills. It was primarily focused on seeing if you're good enough to be an engineer. They weren't there to help you. They're there to torture you, and I didn't really want to be into that. So additionally, I had a co-op in 1988, which was at National Semiconductor, and particularly before I had co-op, I had two digital design courses, and I got to that co-op, I was in a meeting and they said, "Here, we want you to design the circuit." I had no clue how to design a circuit. No clue whatsoever. Luckily, someone saved me and stepped in at that moment. And, I learned a bunch after that. But, the issue is textbooks primarily teach you a lot of stuff, but they don't really teach you how to design circuits. Current digital design textbooks are still, in my opinion, outdated. They were based on a different model that was kind of grunt work based, and they weren't really design based. The designs that were in them were kind of pointless and trivial, and they just didn't make a lot of sense. So I wanted to change that, and I put in actual design stuff in this book. Lastly here, a couple notes here. This is a free textbook, and I've done probably 99% of this textbook myself, if not 99.9% of it. Done my best to remove the typos in it. There's going to be typos in it. I apologize in advance. I always wanted to write free textbooks, so I did, and I've got a couple comments from people, and they said, "Oh, people won't value it if it's free," and I just disagree with that. Personally, the things I value most in my life were given to me for free. Another thing is experts in the field need to review it, and I disagree with that. I've been extended offers to review textbooks with the promise of a stipend like $200. So I mean, is someone going to read a 500 and 600 page textbook, the entire thing, for $200? No, I don't think so. So I don't need experts to review it. I think it stands up on its own. So as you read this textbook, you will see that I'm not really real thrilled with academic administrators. They forgot the reason why schools exist. Schools exist to transfer knowledge, not to make a profit. Schools work in this way. This is how they should work. Teachers should support students, and the administration should support teachers. It doesn't work that way. Generally speaking, the administration has a mind of its own and has its own set of morals, and we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, writing book, I just have to state directly, it is a career killer. If someone can't make profit off of what you're doing, either monetarily or with good PR or something like that, they don't value it. So despite the fact that I've saved students quite a bit of money through the years, the administration, my colleagues simply do not value the work, which has kind of hurt me in the academic career sense. And so if you're thinking of writing books, just keep that in mind. Everyone always says, hey, yeah, writing books, you just can't make any money from it. Well, I made zero money from it, and I'm actually pretty happy with it. I think the results have gotten better through the years. That's it, video 1, folks.